looking at the horoscope of India as a nation and looking at the horoscope of the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, and also looking at the dynamics between the two horoscopes, keeping into account the current transits which are happening of the slower moving planets, which is Rahu and Ketu on one side and retrograde Saturn and Jupiter on the other side. This shows continued problems existing for India as a nation and also for Mr. Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister. Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan. Once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been seeing since at least a couple of months, challenges have started to come up for both India as a nation, where India is facing challenges, one on the border with Pakistan, with China also got involved, and then continued problems looking at the trade tariffs, which the current President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, is trying to levy on India. And in fact, he has already announced 25% tariffs and maybe another 25%, which may happen by the end of the month, August, if for some reason the deal doesn't seem to be able to crack between the Indian officials and the American negotiators. So why is this challenge happening? Will this continue for some time? We have just heard a couple of days back Mr. Narendra Modi saying that he will stick to doing what is good for India's farmers, India's agricultural sector, even at the cost of him personally. So why did he say that it may cost him personally? Does it mean is he leaving? Is he quitting? Or does he feel there will be pressure on him to quit as a Prime Minister, to quit the seat, to quit and hand over responsibilities to somebody else? This surely needs to be seen. So let's look at from an astrological perspective. For India as a nation, will the problems continue to persist? How long they will persist? And for Mr. Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister, will this persist in the long run, where his own continued sitting on the Prime Minister seat will be under question? So let's start with looking at India's horoscope. India's horoscope, which is derived on the basis of India attaining freedom on 15th August in midnight. This is the horoscope of India. Here you can see it is the Taurus ascendant with Rahu in the Lagna and Ketu in the 7th house. Now, a few things I want to point out because of this placement of India's horoscope. Ketu being in the Scorpio sign and in the 7th house. This points towards that India will have a Prime Minister who will be somebody who may not have a partner most of the time because of Ketu being placed in the 7th house. And if at all the person has a partner, is married at the time of becoming a Prime Minister, then either the relationship may not continue for long or the person may not remain in the seat for long. So now if you see, if you start by looking at the Prime Ministers who have attained the office since the time of India's independence. First, it was Jawaharlal Nehru who became the Prime Minister of India, and he remained the Prime Minister for many years. Almost close to 18 years, if not slightly more. What it means is, if you see, Jawaharlal Nehru was a widower. His wife had already died even before he became the Prime Minister, and he had a long stint. After Jawaharlal Nehru, for some period, Morarji Desai, who was a married man, became a Prime Minister, but he could not continue for long. And then Lal Bahadur Shastri became a Prime Minister. He was also married, but within just a short period of time, just about a year or so, even less, Lal Bahadur Shastri died in Tashkent in Russia, where he had gone for a peace negotiation between India and Pakistan. After that, Indira Gandhi became a Prime Minister who was already a widow when she became a Prime Minister, and she continued to be a Prime Minister till 1984 for a long stint while being a widow. After Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, her son, became a Prime Minister, but it was only for one stint and it was fraught with challenges. Whenever if you see a married person has taken the seat of Prime Minister, either the stint has been very short or the person has faced a huge turbulence. For example, when Lal Bahadur Shastri became the Prime Minister, the country went to war with Pakistan in 1965. After Indira Gandhi died and Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister, the country went through a lot of problems. The Ram Mandir, Babri Masjid issue, then the Bofors scandal came up where Rajiv Gandhi had to leave his office. And when he left office, you know what happened? 3 or 4 different prime ministers for a very short period of time, 1 year, 1.5 years, I.K. Gujral, Chandrasekhar, Devegowda, married men, but whose stint didn't last. After that, Narasimha Rao became the Prime Minister of India, but only for 1 stint. And you know what happened? The Babri Masjid was demolished, the Ram Mandir movement came into being, and the country went through huge riots during that period also. A lot of turmoil also. And in fact, India also faced the balance of payments during Narasimha Rao's rule, where India had to then open up its economy. After Narasimha Rao left, we saw Atal Bihari Vajpayee become the Prime Minister in 2 stints, roughly for 7.5 to 8 years. Once for 5 years and another for I think 18-19 months and another for some few months. Vajpayee was also not a married person. After Vajpayee left, Manmohan Singh became the Prime Minister for 2 terms. But Manmohan Singh, while he was the Prime Minister, many called him somebody as a rubber stamp Prime Minister, where the reins of power was in either the hands of Sonia Gandhi, who was a widow, or Rahul Gandhi, her son, who was not married. So for those 10 years, the accusations, and to some extent or to a large extent they were right, that the power was managed from behind rather than in Mr. Manmohan Singh's hands. After Manmohan Singh quit office or he lost in the elections, you know what happened? Mr. Narendra Modi, who was married earlier, but he had already had a separation from his wife, even while he was just a chief minister of Gujarat, and then he became the Prime Minister, and he's into his 3rd stint. So if you see historically, it has been seen that India as a nation rarely has any Prime Minister who was married at the time of office and who has a long stint. However, we have seen that India having Prime Ministers who are without a partner. Either they are a widower or a widow, or separated in the case of Mr. Narendra Modi. So same thing will continue. You will see, even now when you see the name which is propping up to become a Prime Minister, either of Yogi Adityanath, who is the current Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, whose name is propping up as the most probable Prime Minister of India, who is not married, and the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, who is not married either. Their names are coming up, that either if for some reason opposition comes to power, Rahul Gandhi may become the Prime Minister, or you may have Mamata Banerjee, she may become a Prime Minister from West Bengal, who is also unmarried person, or Yogi Adityanath may become a Prime Minister if BJP wins, or Narendra Modi can get another term if he continues to or wants to fight the election. So the most probable henceforth going for Prime Ministers are also those people who are single, or at the time of fighting elections, they may not be with a partner for whatever reason. So this is what you will see, that because of India's horoscope having Ketu in the 7th house in Scorpio, there will be huge changes or transitions or problems or transformation in the country's stint or during that tenure of a person. If he's already married, huge transformation, huge challenges may happen, or a person who's unmarried may attain the seat and rule follow. So that is surely there. Now currently, if you see, basis the transits, Rahu is transiting over the 10th house and Ketu is transiting over the 4th house. Ketu transiting to the 4th house of India's horoscope means problems at home. Ketu is a negator. Ketu is a denier of results. So Ketu is denying the results at home because of transiting through the 4th house, through the sign of Leo. So that's why at home, Modi is also facing a lot of challenges because of opposition attacking him, saying that Donald Trump's assertion that he became a peacemaker between India and Pakistan, they are not liking that, they had to negate it. Donald Trump is also taking pot shots at the country, at the country's leadership also, and wanting that the country should succumb to his pressure. So problems both at home, and Rahu in the 10th house, problems from a foreign land, problems from a foreign person, which Donald Trump is. And if you look at the current transits, apart from Rahu and Ketu, Saturn is retrograde. Saturn rules the 10th house and is retrograde in the 11th house of masses. So at a mass level, at a country level, India is facing challenges where, if you see currently, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, the biggest IT firm of India, has also laid out many people, or laid off many people who were their employees, which rarely happens with TCS as an organization. And many such challenges India will see in India's corporate world also. Continued problems. And if these tariffs hold 25% plus 25%, this may continue to have a huge impact on the country's economic strength, on India's GDP as well. And this will continue while Rahu will remain in the 10th house in Aquarius, which will be roughly another year and 3-4 months. India will continue to face these challenges of having pressure on job situation, on economy, on inflation, of salaries. So this will be a continued thing. It will not be easy. And the problems, while Ketu is in the 4th house, the country will face challenges at home. The leadership, the political leadership will face challenges at home. In any state, you will find that there will be friction between the ruling party and the opposition. And this is happening at most, if you see, in the country also. And Narendra Modi, because of losing many seats in his 3rd term, not having the absolute majority, is also facing huge pressure of not being able to push a lot of bills which he wanted to bring in. So that is a challenge which the country is facing because of the horoscope that the country has of Taurus and the transits which are happening. And if you see, the 8th Lord Jupiter is transiting to the 2nd house. 2nd house is the house of nutrition. Nutrition is also related to agriculture. Venus is also transiting through the 2nd house, where Venus rules the 6th house of enemy. So inimical forces acting on the agricultural front, wanting that India should reduce the tariffs that India applies of foreign agricultural products coming into India, and India should open up the economy, allowing American farmers or American agricultural products into the country. So inimical forces who are acting strongly, almost as an enemy, connected to the 2nd house of nutrition, agricultural product. And there may be some pressure also on the 6th house of pharma products going forward because of continued challenges, because of Jupiter in India's horoscope transiting or being in the 6th house in its horoscope. Now, when you look at Narendra Modi's horoscope, for instance, Narendra Modi has a Scorpio ascendant, and you have Mars and Moon in the Lagna, where Moon seems to be debilitated, and Sun and Mercury in the 11th house with Ketu. Now you see, Ketu is right now transiting through the 10th house of career. So it shows that there will be pressure on his continued stint as a Prime Minister going forward. Ketu being in the 10th house is a status quo changer. Ketu tries to change the status quo. The status currently is Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. So to change the status quo means that Ketu is trying to put pressure on the person to either negate the results of office, which means the person will be able to do very less, will face constant pressures from different sides and not be able to deliver as much as he wants to, or to the effect that he wants to, or even have a situation where the person may have to even quit office. Now, the quitting of office may be a lesser impact immediately. Though, if you remember, I've already predicted that Mr. Narendra Modi may not complete his 3rd term. So he may not finish his 3rd term. So before completing his 3rd term, he may quit office or may leave office for whatever reason. So the current pressure is also there. And he has also stated that I may have to pay a personal price. But I don't see that coming immediately, but the pressure will remain on him. From RSS also, Rashtriya Samsayak Sangh, where it has continued to put pressure on Mr. Narendra Modi also for appointing the president of the BJP and in various appointments also. So Narendra Modi, because of Ketu transiting over Saturn and Venus in the 10th house in his horoscope, will face these challenges of pressures to continue to remain in office and also to be able to give the results that he wants the country to be able to do. Now, Saturn is also retrograde. While Saturn is transiting through the 5th house over natal Rahu. Rahu is playing his effect, so which means Rahu is trying to create challenges and mislead him into taking decisions which may not be to his best advantage. I feel if Donald Trump had been given the credit, not complete credit for the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, but that he facilitated and he helped to facilitate and to rein in Pakistan, rather than saying that he was able to influence India's decision, that Mr. Donald Trump was able to put better sense into Pakistan, because of which Pakistan DGMO called India's DGMO and the problem was resolved. So rather than saying that ceasefire happened on India's level, the credit could have been given that he facilitated to rein in Pakistan, which was also not done. If that was done, I think that would have placated Donald Trump's anger or his whatever ire that he has on both India as a country and specifically Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of India, because Donald Trump looked at Narendra Modi as a friend. And he found that some credit that he was trying to take so that he could put up his hand for the Nobel Peace Prize, because he kept saying, I made the peace 29 times, he said, but India was reluctant to give. I think that small credit could have been given, and there was a misjudgment because of which these tariffs are being pushed through with more pressure also. So that's also because of Saturn being retrograde in the 5th house over natal Rahu. And Rahu is right now transiting over his 4th house. Narendra Modi's 4th house over natal Jupiter. This is the Guru Chandal dosha which is in effect, which means over the next year and 3-4 months, roughly about 15 to 16 months, there will be continued decisions which Mr. Modi may take, which may not be in the best interest of his continuing as the Prime Minister of India. I'm not saying that he will be removed, but he will constantly face pressure. There will be questions on his leadership. There will be questions on India's ability to be able to better relations on diplomatic relations with different countries. So there the pressure relentlessly will be there, and because of which some decisions may not be taken wisely because of Saturn being retrograde over natal Rahu. However, you will find there will be easing of pressures. The foreign pressures will ease when Saturn turns direct roughly mid-November. However, I'm not saying that things will turn better only from November. You will find within a couple of months, the back channels will begin to work, because of which the pressures will be subdued to a large extent. And I will not be surprised if the war which is happening between Ukraine and Russia will either cease and become very, very minimal, or it will not be as aggressive, which is happening now, and it will slowly lead to peace over a few months. I don't see that war continuing at least post-November. Anytime from now till November, there can be peace anytime. I will not be surprised if within this month or within 1.5 months, peace is also declared between Russia and Ukraine. So please mark my words on these. And you'll also find the back channels working between India and US, and some negotiations happening and some agreement happening, because of which the pressures of the tariffs will also ease. So these are only current transiting problems or problems from transition. Based on the Ukraine-Russia war also, which will ease, remember my prediction also came right about the India and Pakistan ceasefire. I was correct to almost a few hours. I said that the peace will happen within a couple of few days. Within 24 hours, the ceasefire was declared between India and Pakistan, when it was thought that the war may go on for a long period of time. So, mark my words, Ukraine and the Russia war is also slowly coming to an end. It's a few months maximum. peace can happen anytime within from a few weeks, a few months. Definitely the war will not go on aggressively post-November when Saturn will turn direct. Secondly, the problems of pressures on the tariffs between India and US, and to a large extent, many countries will also subdue. You will find that the current terms between many countries and US will also be renegotiated. Back channels will also work, and to a large extent, US will also put lesser pressure, and to a lot of normalization will happen. A lot of back channels will work. Many countries will say we'll invest in US. They may not do so, but they will placate Donald Trump, bring the tariffs percentage down, and things will be much normalized from November onwards. From Narendra Modi's prime ministership continuing, I've already said that he may not complete his full third term. However, he will continue to be a prime minister, continue to serve the country for at least many more months. However, his ability to deliver strongly as a prime minister, which he was able to do in the first and the second terms, will be subdued to a large extent. So, friends, my suggestion to all those people who are working or in career is also to either upgrade yourself, add more skills, add more experience to your employabilities, because the continued trend of at least the job situation in India is not looking very good, at least the next 15, 16, 17 months. So do pull up your socks and try and sustain. Keep your jobs rather than leave the job under any circumstances unless you have another job, because that will only be at your own cost. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me with the link given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.